Hello listeners, welcome back, and we are continuing to read the book IkiGai. We are on the last chapter. Please do listen and please do subscribe to my channel. Please, it will help me a lot. It will motivate me a lot to keep reading. Reading is my passion, and I would really want somebody out there who loves to listen. It would make me so happy. I can't tell you. So please, in order to reach out to a larger audience, please do subscribe to my channel. Read to me, Sue. So we were reading IkiGai book. We were on the chapter 9. The paragraph start. The here and now and the impermanence of things. Impermanence. The here and now and the impermanence of things. Another key to cultivating resilience is knowing in which time to live. Both Buddhism and Stoicism reminds us that the present is all that exists. We should live in the present. The present is all that exists, and it is the only thing that we can control. Instead of worrying about the past or the future, we should appreciate things just as they are in the moment, in the now. Yeah, which is so true. The only moment in which you can truly alive is the only moment in which you can be truly alive is the present moment. Observes the Buddhist monk Thich Hat Ha. Thich Hat Ha. It's the name of a Buddhist monk. In addition to living in the here and now, the Stoics recommend reflecting on the impermanence of the things around us. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said that the things we love are like the leaves of a tree. They can fall at any moment with a gust of wind. He also said that changes in the world around us are not accidental, but rather form part of the essence of the universe. A rather Buddhist notion, in fact. We should never forget that everything we have and all the people we love will disappear at some point. This is something we should keep in mind, but without giving in to pessimism. Being aware of the impermanence of things does not have to make us sad. It should help us love the present moment and those who surround us. All things human are short-lived and perishable, Seneca tells us. The temporary, ephemeral, and impermanent nature of the world is central to every Buddhist disciple. Keeping this always in mind helps us avoid excessive pain in times of loss. Wabi Sabi and Ichigo. Wabi Sabi is a Japanese concept that shows us the beauty of the fleeting, changeable, and imperfect nature of the world around us. Instead of searching for beauty in perfection, we should look for it in things that are flawed, incomplete. This is why the Japanese place such value, for example, on an irregular or cracked teapot. Only things that are imperfect, incomplete, and ephemeral can truly be beautiful, because only those things resemble the natural world. A complementary Japanese concept is that of Ichigo, Ichie, which could be translated as this moment exists only now and won't come again. It is heard most often in social gatherings as a reminder that each encounter, whether with friends, family, or strangers, is unique and will never be repeated, meaning that we should enjoy the moment and not lose ourselves in worries about the past or the future. The concept is commonly used in tea ceremonies, Zen meditation, and Japanese martial arts, all of which place emphasis on being present in the moment. In the West, we have grown accustomed to the permanence of the stone buildings and cathedrals of Europe, which sometimes gives us the sense that nothing changes, making us forget about the passage of time. Greco-Roman architecture adores symmetry, sharp lines, imposing facades and buildings and statues of the gods that outlast the centuries. Japanese architecture, on the other hand, doesn't try to be imposing or perfect because it is built in the spirit of Wabi Sabi. The tradition of making structures out of wood presupposes their impermanence and the need for future generations to rebuild them. Japanese culture accepts the fleeting nature of the human being and everything we create. The grand shrine of ice, for example, has been rebuilt for every 20 years for centuries. The most important thing is not to keep the building standing for generations, but to preserve customs and traditions. Things that can withstand the passage of time better than structures made by human hands. The key is to accept that there are certain things over which we have no control, like the passage of time and the ephemeral nature of the world around us. Ikigai teaches us to focus on the present day and enjoy each moment that life brings us. This is why it is so important to find and pursue our IkiGai. What's your IkiGai? Wabi Sabi teaches us to appreciate the beauty of imperfection for an opportunity for growth. Beyond resilience, anti-fragility. As the legend goes, the first time Hercules faced the Hydra, he despaired what he discovered by that cutting off one of its head meant that two would grow back in its place. He would never be able to kill the beast if it got stronger with every wound. As Nassim Nicholas Taleb explains in Anti-Fragile, Things That Gain from Disorder, we use the word fragile to describe people, things, and organizations that are weakened when harmed, and the words robust and resilient for things that are able to withstand harm without weakening. But we don't have a word for things that get stronger when harmed, to refer to the kind of power possessed by the Hydra of Lerna to talk about things that get stronger when they are harmed. Taleb proposes the term anti-fragile. Anti-fragility is beyond resilience or robustness. The resilient resists shocks and stays the same. The anti-fragile gets better. Catastrophes and exceptional circumstances offer good models for explaining anti-fragility. In 2011, a tsunami hit the Tohoku region of Japan, doing tremendous damage to dozens of cities and towns along the coast, most famously Fukushima. When we visited the affected coast 2 years after the catastrophe, having driven for hours along cramped highways and past one empty gas station after another, we passed through several ghost towns whose streets had been taken over by the remnants of houses, piles of cars, and empty train stations. These towns were fragile spaces that had been forgotten by the government and could not recover on their own. Other places such as Ishinomaki and Keshinuma suffered extensive damage but were rebuilt within a few years thanks to the effort of many. Ishinomaki and Keshinuma showed how resilient they were in their ability to return to normal after the catastrophe. The earthquake that caused the tsunami also affected the Fukushima nuclear power plant. The Tokyo Electric Power Company engineers working at the plant were not prepared to recover from that kind of damage. The Fukushima nuclear facility is still in the state of emergency and will be for decades to come. It demonstrated its fragility in the face of an unprecedented catastrophe. The Japanese financial markets closed minutes after the earthquake. Which businesses did the best in the aftermath? Stock in big construction companies has been steadily on the rise since 2011. The need to rebuild the entire cost of Tohoku is a boon for construction. In this case, Japanese construction companies are anti-fragile since they benefited enormously from the catastrophe. Now let's take a look at how we can apply this concept to our daily lives. How can we be more anti-fragile? Step 1. Create more options. Instead of having a single salary, try to find a way to make money from your hobbies, at other jobs, or by starting your own business. If you have only one salary, you might be left with nothing should your employer run into trouble, leaving you in a position of fragility. On the other hand, if you have several options and you lose your primary job, it might just happen that you end up dedicating more time to your secondary job and maybe even make more money at it. You would have beaten that stroke of bad luck and would be, in that case, anti-fragile. 100% of the seniors we interviewed in Ogimi had a primary and secondary occupation. Most of them kept a vegetable garden as a secondary job and sold their produce at the local market. The same idea goes for friendships and personal interests. It's just a matter, as the saying goes, of not putting all your eggs in one basket. In the sphere of romantic relationships, there are those who focus all their energy on their partner and make him or her their whole world. Those people lose everything if the relationship doesn't work out, whereas if they have cultivated strong friendships and a full life along the way, they will be in a better position to move on at the end of the relationship. They will be anti-fragile. Well, I can't comment on this because sometimes I put all my energy, sometimes no, I do put all my energy, I channel all my energy in one direction when it's about an emotional thing, which is very wrong. But I have been wired that way. What to do? I'm trying to change myself. Right now, you might be thinking, I don't need more than one salary and I am happy with the friends I have always had. Why should I add anything new? It might seem like a waste of time to add variation to our lives because extraordinary things don't ordinarily happen. We slip into a comfort zone. But the unexpected always happens sooner or later. That's so true. It's just hard to believe. We don't believe it. We don't accept it. Yes. So please create more modes of income. Step 2. Bet conservatively in certain areas and take many risks in others. Take many small risks in others. The world of finance turns out to be very useful in explaining this concept. If you have $10,000 saved up, you might put $9,000 of that into an index fund or fixed term deposit and invest the remaining $1,000 in 10 startups with huge growth potential, say $100 in each. One possible scenario is that 3 of the companies fail. You lose $300. The value of 3 other companies goes down. You lose another $100 or $200. The value of 3 goes up. You make $100 or $200. And the value of one of the startups increases 20-fold. You make nearly $2,000 or maybe even more. You still make money even if 3 of the businesses go completely belly up. You have benefited from the damage, just like the Hydra. The key to becoming anti-fragile is taking on small risks that might lead to greater rewards without exposing ourselves to dangers that might sink us, such as investing $10,000 in a fund of questionable reputation that we saw advertised in the newspaper. Step 3. Get rid of things that make you fragile. This is the most difficult thing. Get rid of things that make you fragile. We are taking the negative route for this exercise. Ask yourself, what makes me fragile? Certain people, things and habits generate losses for us and makes us vulnerable. Who and what are they? When we make our New Year's resolutions, we tend to emphasize adding new challenges to our lives. It's great to have this kind of objective, but setting good riddance goals can have an even bigger impact. For example, stop snacking between meals. I do that. Eat sweets only once a week. Oh my God, I will die. Gradually pay off all debt. Avoid spending time with toxic people. Avoid spending time doing things we don't enjoy simply because we feel obligated to do them. Spend no more than 20 minutes on Facebook per day. To build resilience into our lives, we shouldn't fear adversity because each setback is an opportunity for growth. If we adopt an anti-fragile attitude, we will find a way to get stronger with every blow, refining our lifestyle and staying focused on our IkiGai. Taking a hit or two can be viewed as either a misfortune or an experience that we can apply to all areas of our lives as we continually make corrections and set new and better goals. As Taleb writes in Anti-Fragile, we need randomness, mess, adventures, uncertainty, self-discovery, hearing traumatic episodes, all these things that make life worth living. We encourage those interested in the concept of anti-fragility to read Nassim Nicholas Taleb's Anti-Fragile. Life is pure imperfection, as the philosophy of Wabi Sabi teaches us, and the passage of time shows us that everything is fleeting. But if you have a clear sense of your IkiGai, each moment will hold so many possibilities that it will seem almost like an eternity. Now that's the end of the book IkiGai. Well, make another video of reading out the epilogue. I mean, it is such a lovely book. The 3 steps for getting resilient is create more options. Step 2, be conservatively in certain areas and take many small risks in others. And 3rd, get rid of the things that make you fragile. I hope you really loved listening to this book. It is an amazing book. I'll try to take certain principles from this book and implement it in my life. And I hope it works wonders with me as well as you. Keep listening. I'll come back with a new book. Keep listening. Keep loving me. Keep subscribing to my channel. Keep liking, commenting on my channel. Here I am to read with you. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.